Okay, so today we're diving into some pretty fascinating stuff. Channeled messages from Merlin Ambrosius. Have you ever heard this before?
I have, and it's not Merlin as in the wizard from the Arthurian legends, although there are some interesting parallels.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Think of Merlin more as a title, passed down through the ages, representing a state of being that goes beyond, our normal limitations.
Okay, so not a guy with a pointy hat and a magic wand then.
Not exactly. But speaking of magic, Merlin does talk about a different kind of magic, the magic of consciousness.
Okay.
He suggests that the shift in consciousness that's happening right now on the planet is even more significant than the rise of artificial intelligence. He calls it a consciousness clinic.
Wow, a consciousness clinic. That's an interesting way to put it. So more important than AI. That's a pretty bold statement.
Right. It is. And he goes on to say that even with all this talk about AI, only a master can truly understand consciousness.
Okay, now that sounds a little exclusive, right? Like, how do we even begin to grasp something so profound?
Well, he defines a master not as someone who is perfect, but as someone who experiences life fully, without the usual filters of judgment or resistance.
Okay.
Imagine living like that. How would your life be different?
That's a really interesting way to think about it. Not some kind of superhuman, but someone who's truly present in each moment.
Mm.
But how do we get there? Did I miss the memo on that one?
It might be simpler than we think. He suggests we declare yourself a master.
Wait, really?
He's talking about the power of owning that identity without judgment. That simple act can spark a shift within us.
Okay, I need to hear more about this. Is he saying we can just think our way into becoming masters of consciousness?
It's not just about thinking, it's about embodying that identity. And it ties into this bigger question of what consciousness actually is, especially with AI advancing so rapidly. Makes you wonder, right?
Right. What is consciousness beyond just, being aware of things? Is it something we can even define?
That's the million-dollar question. But Merlin is clear that consciousness is not a force. You can't force it to happen. It's not even something you feel directly like a sixth sense. It's the source from which everything else emerges. He uses the analogy of a dark room. More light doesn't change the room itself. It changes how much we can see, how much we understand.
So consciousness is like the light by which we experience everything else. I'm starting to get it, but this is pretty
Yeah.
deep stuff.
And it gets even deeper. He also throws in this bombshell. Love is a subset of consciousness. We need the experience of love to even begin to grasp what consciousness is truly about. What do you think that means for how we approach love in our lives?
Love as a subset of consciousness.
Yeah.
That really makes you think about how we approach love, how we experience it. But it still feels kind of abstract.
Yeah.
Like if we want to understand consciousness in a deeper way, how do we actually do that? How do we tap into this potential in our everyday lives?
Well, Merlin offers a few practical pointers.
Hmm.
He emphasizes this idea of awareness of our awareness. It's not just about, going through the motions of daily life, but really noticing our experiences. The good, the bad, even the seemingly mundane.
So like instead of just rushing through my morning coffee, I should really savor it. The aroma, the taste, the way it makes me feel.
Exactly. Or noticing the way the light hits the leaves on a tree, or how the energy feels different in different rooms of your house. It's about bringing that heightened awareness to every aspect of our existence.
I can see how that could start to shift things. We're always being told to be more mindful these days,
Hmm.
but this makes it feel even more significant. Like if cultivating awareness is one key to unlocking consciousness, what else does Merlin suggest?
Well, he talks about time being a very powerful force, perhaps the biggest one we encounter, but he also says it's something we can transcend.
Okay, now you're really blowing my mind. How can we transcend time? It feels like such a constant, such a defining aspect of our reality. I mean, we're always racing against it, trying to make the most of it.
He's not saying we can literally stop the clock or anything, but rather that we can shift our relationship with time. Think about a time when you were so engrossed in an activity that you completely lost track of time.
Yeah.
That's a taste of what Merlin means by becoming a free rider, not bound by the clock in the same way.
I've definitely had those moments where time just seems to disappear. But isn't there a purpose to time? Don't we need it to learn and grow?
Absolutely. Merlin suggests that time serves a very crucial purpose. It allows us to experience things in a way that creates depth and meaning. It's like a train journey. We ride the train of time, stopping at different stations, experiencing different lifetimes, learning different lessons. But eventually we can become what he calls free riders, no longer restricted to the predetermined stops.
So once we've learned the lessons, we've gained the wisdom, we can hop off the train of linear time and
Yeah.
What exactly? What does it look like to be a free rider? That's the exciting part, right? It's not about reaching some predetermined destination. It's about the freedom to explore, to create,
Yeah.
to experience life on a whole new level.
Absolutely. It's like graduating from the school of life. You've
Yeah,
got the knowledge. Now go out and make something amazing.
exactly.
Mm.
And in this case, making something amazing could mean, deepening your connection with loved ones or manifesting synchronicities or maybe even, as you were saying, bending time itself. Who knows what we're capable of once we step off that linear path?
It really makes you wonder. And, one thing that really struck me about Merlin's message is this isn't about technology or trying to, hack our way into higher consciousness.
Yeah.
He's saying it's already within us, waiting to be fully realized.
And that's what I think is so empowering about this whole conversation.
Right.
We're not waiting for some external force to grant us consciousness. It's already here within us. And it's not about achieving some grand mystical state. It's about bringing that awareness into
Yeah.
every aspect of our lives, from the way we savor our morning coffee to the way we interact with the people around us.
It really is finding the magic in the everyday.
I have to admit, when we started this deep dive, I was a little skeptical. I'd never really dived into channeled messages before. And this whole idea of consciousness is this ultimate power. It all seemed a bit out there. But hearing Merlin's words, even filtered through, all these layers, it sparks something. It makes you want to look at the world with new eyes.
It really does. And who knows? Maybe by tapping into this Merlin within us, we can start to create a world that's more in tune with consciousness. A world that embraces love and connection and the full potential of what it means to be human.
It's certainly something to strive for. This has been an incredible deep dive.
Yeah.
So much to think about, so much to explore. For our listeners, what resonated most with you today? What aspect of your own consciousness are you curious to explore further? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, keep diving deep and remember the magic is within you.